Hi, my name is Audrey, and I am a tutor for Blue Owl Tutoring. Today, me and my student were looking at 6th grade science and social science. So today, what we were looking at is two different ideas. Well, first, we were looking at comprehension and analysis science questions. And in those questions, we were looking at the theory of Pangaea, a hypothetical supercontinent that included all current land masses, believed to have been in existence before the continents broke apart during the Triassic and Jurassic periods. Basically, when there was a solid mass of all the continents together. The other idea we looked at was Darwin's idea of natural selection, or the process by which organisms change over time as a result of changes in heritable, physical, or behavioral traits. We discussed the idea, Darwin's idea, of the finches in the Galapagos. These finches all lived on the same islands, but they lived in different parts of the islands, which had different climates and atmospheres. And they kept seeing that while the finches were of the same family, they had different beaks, and they weren't sure why. And we figured out it was because they had to adapt to different food sources. So they needed longer beaks or sharper beaks. And it shows the idea that we have to have natural selection. And if you don't adapt to your environment, you might die, which is the same in plants and animals. So we looked at this question. Where would you expect to find each of these plants? Why would you expect to find them in different places? We looked at these 3 different plants. A colder one, someplace cold, someplace in the rainforest, and someplace in the desert, because it's a cactus, obviously. And we discussed why they would be there and how they were different and similar. So some of the questions we worked on, for example, this is from a worksheet. Number 2 was, suppose the fossil remains of a plant with broad, flat leaves was found in Antarctica. How could the remains of these plants be found in Antarctica? So we kept talking back and forth of why this would have occurred. And we came to the idea that there was an increase of temperature 40 to 50 million years ago due to high carbon dioxide levels and Pangaea. We also discussed how plants may once have grown there, but then frosted over time as fossils. Another idea we talked about was what patterns you observe in the evidence you gathered, or the evidence on the 3 different types of plants. We looked at plant adaptations. So the colder plant, maybe an oak or something, and the rainforest plant both had to adapt to environments with less sunlight and more water. And an adaptation of the rainforest plants is the liana, which are woody vines that have roots in the ground but climb up the trees to reach the sunlight. That is important because it shows the adaptations of different kinds of plants that must change in order to receive what they need, like the sun. The next question was, how could you explain those patterns? And this is what we came up with question-wise. While different plants have different adaptations, they all come from common ancestors and had to adapt to different environments. That is why some plants in the same climate look similar, and why cacti and rainforest plants look completely different. We looked at the patterns of, while they're all still the same plant, why do they have different adaptations? Next, we did social science, and we looked at the Neolithic period, aka the Stone Age. So we talked about hunter and farmer societies, the domestication of plants and animals, nomadic lifestyles. We also looked at a question that was talking about why did certain places domesticate specific animals and plants? We talked about the idea of adaptability, of what is available in the moment. So if you have access to buffalo, you'd probably use the buffalo rather than a horse in a different environment. We also talked about preference, or the idea of what is available and which is easiest to grow and fulfill the need. So if you like corn over wheat, maybe that's what you grow. And this is an example of an analysis social science question. So this is what I learned, this is what I taught in my session for Blue Owl Tutoring. Thank you.